This is the most highly requested video after my post yesterday. So we're going to dig in and I'm literally going to show you two things that I did in order to lower a new client's cost per book call from $500 plus dollars. Yes, $500 plus dollars to book one phone call to under $35. And we did two simple tactics. Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen and I'll show you exactly what we did. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys something about VSLs that a lot of people will not talk about. In order to make a traditional VSL work, this is dependent on volume, right? Because if you don't get enough people through this funnel, you're going to end up paying a lot of money for a booked call. In my client's case, over $500 per booked call. Now, here's the thing about this. It wasn't just $500 per booked call. This is including applications that were not qualified. This was including people who did not show up. And so, what we needed to do was put together some type of strategy that was going to push more volume. Now, the thing to know about is the more you push volume, you're going to have to sift through some unqualified people. We needed to do something because this funnel was not producing the amount of volume that my client needed in order to run her business. Okay. So I needed to come up with something quick and tactical that was going to push more volume. And these are the two things that I did. Okay. Now, this first thing she was not a huge fan of, but I said, dude, we have to kill the VSL. So instead of running ads, straight to this VSL, right? Because if you think about it, if you send 1,000 people here, only 20% of people are going to opt in, 40% are going to watch the VSL. Like the numbers just start to look really bad. So the first thing that I did was I replaced her VSL with a power offer ad. Thank you, Joel Irway. This has been one of the biggest things that I've been able to help my clients with. And so we wrote a power offer ad that literally just said, hey, if you have this issue and we can solve it, would it be worth a quick 20-minute call? That's all we did. And I pushed that straight to an application. Now, what did I tell you guys is super important about this type of strategy? Is we need volume, right? So what we did was we took out the friction of a landing page. We took out the friction of making them watch the darn video. We were just saying, hey, if you have this problem, we can solve it. You want to see how it do it? Would it be worth 20 minutes of your time, right? So we're getting people onto this application. Now, again, what did I tell you guys? If we're going to do this, it's going to bring in a whole bunch of qualified applications. That's okay because we're going to get the volume that her sales team needs in order to feed them. Okay. So instead of paying 500 plus, now we're paying around $35. This morning it went up, it creeped up a little bit to 42, but $35. Okay. That's a huge difference from 500. Here's where the magic happens though, right? Because if sales teams are barely able to get on the phone, they're not going to be able to close. And so we need volume of people they can close. Now, again, I've got a second tactic I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit. But what we did here was pretty much, I think a lot of people call a reverse VSL. And so here's what happens after people apply. Their setter actually texts people and says, hey, I'm super excited about having you. And then they make them confirm that they've watched this 10 to 15-minute video before the call. And we have found that if people say yes, they are some of the most qualified people. So by bringing in a higher volume, we were able to get more qualified people. Now, obviously, this works extremely well when you have a call setter, when you have a sales team. But that's kind of the game. If you're booking calls, you need to figure out the volume. So that was tactic number one. The second thing that I did was I had her put this information into a PDF and I had her shoot a Reels video that pretty much said the same thing as this power offer. But instead of getting them to fill out an application, she got them to comment for this PDF. Then they had a messenger conversation that boom sent people to the application. Now, this pushed way more unqualified people than this strategy, but this brought in way more volume, and volume is the game. And I will say this, if you are someone who has an actual sales team, they will be more than happy to deal with all of these leads. Yes, they're going to say, well, I'm having to do unqualified, but this is the way that they stay fed. And if you don't have volume, you can't make sales. And so those were the two things that we were able to do in order to bring down the cost per call from over $500 to less than 40 bucks. Like I said this morning, one came in about $42, but when you're having messenger conversations at volume and you're able to move 8 to 10% of those to a booked call, that is pretty good. If you were able to get qualified applications and you're able to sift through all of the unqualified, you have the volume. That is the game. And so hopefully this got some ideas going. But guys, funnels are getting harder and harder and harder. And so we have to remove as much friction as possible. And these are just some of the strategic things that I have to, do with my clients when they come in to lean on Laurel. Are they happy that I'm telling them that a funnel that they paid tens of thousands of dollars to build, we need to get rid of it? They're not so happy with me, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do in order to push volume. And I'm super happy to say that my client who wasn't happy with me at first is pretty happy with me now. So hopefully you got a lot of value out of this video. Let me know if you guys have any questions, throw them down below, and I'll be more than happy to jump into Messenger and answer them for you.